What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and we're back in Niagara and St. Catharines with our local realtor expert, Kayla. And in today's video, she's just going to break down everything that we can expect to see going on in the Niagara St. Catharines market. I hope you guys are enjoying these market updates. If you are, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and reminder, this is a reoccurring monthly series that we're doing with Kayla. If you guys ever want to get in contact with her, her contact information's in that video description down below. And let's jump into today's video. What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here. We're back with our local expert, Kayla, for the Niagara region. Hey, Kayla, how's it going?
It's going. How are you, Matt?
Good. So I'm excited to chat about what's going on in your market. And I know that we were chatting before the show and you mentioned you've got some employment information as well, because it sounds like a lot of people have questions about, how do people get paid? How are they going to pay me their rent in Niagara area? So looking forward to diving a little bit deeper into that. So let's pull up the presentation and jump into some of February's stats.
All right. So I'm going to preface the presentation with these look favorable. The stats have changed a bit for buyers. However, it is still a strong seller's market. So I just want to preface it with that. But here we are. So this is month over month, January versus February of 2021. So as you can see, the listings have gone up. Okay, so new listings, as you can see, January 624, February 831. So quite an increase there. But as well, number of sales, 508 to 699. So while there has been quite an increase in listings, there's also been a pretty dramatic increase in sales. The benchmark price, as you can see there, has also gone up month over month. So it's a pretty drastic increase for 1 month. And then the average days on market has actually gone down. And again, that is average days, including those that sit for a long time. The median is still sitting around 6 or 7 days, and that is a result of people holding offers for that amount of time. So every area in the Niagara region did have an increase outside of Niagara on the Lake, which, it went down by one listing, and West Lincoln as well went down by 2. But the interesting thing about that is Niagara on the Lake actually had a pretty dramatic increase in sales versus, the listing. And that's kind of reflected in the price there as well. We know Niagara on the Lake is kind of like the luxury market of the Niagara region, but you can see there was a pretty drastic increase in price there. As well, everywhere did see an increase in price. The only one that was not all that high was Port Colborne and Wainfleet. Only went up by, about $2,000 there. So interesting across the board, but overall, still a seller's market, still a lot of action happening. And as a result, we're seeing, those prices are still being driven up in the Niagara region. So that's month over month. And then if we go to year over year, so number of new listings, 2020, 818, 2021, 831. So February obviously was right before everything kind of went a little crazy. We were pre-lockdown at that point. Market was still doing well. But again, number of sales, 2020 versus 2021, still a pretty big increase versus the increase in new listings. Yeah. So still a lot of people active in the market, still a lot of people buying in the market. And as much as there are new listings, year over year, not a dramatic increase, month over month more so. The biggest standout here is the benchmark price year over year. Like insane. It's, 135,000-ish. It's crazy. The Niagara region, I think, from everything we read, is just feeling, the exodus of other very expensive markets that are being driven up. And as a result, turning into, a much more expensive market than it once was.
And this data really shows a story, right? Or tells a story. Yeah. And again, it's just, whether we're looking month over month, that volume of sales activity, if we continue to see the demand be what it is, it will take a while. We're going to need a lot of new listings to really build up our supply, it seems like.
Yeah, like, and again, that's why I wanted to preface it with the fact that despite the fact that we are seeing new listings, the demand is still there. We're sitting at about 0.8 months of inventory, which is still like on the very, very high end of a seller's market scale. So yeah, it's still very much so a seller's market, very much so real estate in demand in the Niagara region, and I mean across Ontario as a whole. So, and then again, the average days on market, 2020, 40, 2021, 20. And again, with the caveat of people are holding offers, so the median is about 6 or 7 days. And then as usual, this is just another way to present the data. So the top is year over year. So February 2020 versus February 2021, we've seen that. So there's a 20.9% change in the number of sales, but only a 1.6% change in the number of listings. So that paints the picture right there. We're still, like I said, in a seller's market. And then the average days on market, again, is down by almost 50%. And that is also an indicator of the demand and how fast things are selling. And then that benchmark price, 31%, like that's an insane increase. We're seeing people even that just bought last year that are selling because they're seeing the profits that they can possibly make as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then below that is again month over month. So same thing, number of sales are up 37.6%, number of new listings 33.2. So still a discrepancy there, obviously not as huge as year over year. And then the benchmark price increased by 4.6%. And average days on market, again, 32%. And this also speaks to, the real estate market in general slows down in January, December, January, even February, but it starts to pick up, especially with the bout of warm weather we've gotten recently. I think that has also, encouraged people to get out a bit more. So that's that data there. And then, so I just wanted to paint a picture that there is still affordable options for people if they're looking. You can see the increase in detached. So this is from April 2020 to March 2021. And it's interesting if you look at the flip of original price and sale price.
Yeah.
So this was like COVID. And then we kind of got out of it for a bit. And then we went back into lockdown, and you can see the effect of that here and here. But now the sale price is surpassing the asking price month over month. But if you go to the condos, and this is like condo townhouses as well, it includes all of them. There are still affordable options, and sometimes they are selling for the over ask, but more opportunity here. And obviously this does come with your condo fees, but a lot of them are pretty favorable in what they cover. So the bills are minimal on top of that. And I just wanted to show, like, if you look at where these prices are, so this is 600 to 700,000. This is 400 to 500,000. So it's a big difference. And I just wanted to basically paint a picture that even for first-time home buyers who are thinking of investing maybe down the road, maybe a condo is how you get into the market, and then you rent it out down the road and you buy from there, and then you have a property that you've gotten in the market, even though it was unattainable to do on the detached side.
And I'm sure some audience members will be curious as well, but when looking at the condo data, obviously it looks like it's a little bit more volatile month to month, right? Or the detached homes, you can kind of see a very clean, smooth trend almost with what's going on there. I'm guessing the reason for this in condos maybe twofold, but probably just a smaller condo market overall and less transactions going on in condos compared to detached homes.
Absolutely. So the detached data is about 9,500 homes. The condo data is only 1,500. So the Niagara region doesn't have a ton of condos, especially condo buildings. That's kind of like an up and coming thing here. There's a lot of new builds happening, a lot of condo townhouses, but yeah, exactly that. It's only 1,500 sales over that period. So it is tough to pull, the same type of data that you're pulling from 9,500 on the detached side. So yeah, you hit it right on the head. That's exactly what it is. Just less sales. So, more volatile data as a result of that.
Awesome. Yeah. I appreciate that insight.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So as we mentioned, so every conversation I have with a new investor that's not from the Niagara region starts with, what do people do there? So I figured it would help to kind of paint that picture. So what this is, these are the sectors that were hit the hardest by COVID. That's just painting the picture. So the goods producing sector and the services producing sector. So, I mean, as we all know, Niagara does have the service industry is very big here. You have the falls, you have Niagara on the lake, all the wineries, a lot of restaurants. So those were the sectors that were hit the hardest. So if you look, this not as bad, but this really does paint a pretty grim picture, especially for February. From January to February, there was quite a dramatic increase. And I'm just gonna open this. So the Niagara Workforce Planning Board, they do a lot of work in, data for employment. That's and they take it from StatsCan, etc. So this is kind of the whole picture. All right, so this just paints a picture of employment as a whole, but what I really wanted to show the audience was this piece. So I'm getting questions, like I said, of where do people work and what do they do? This is broken down.
This is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
So broken down by numbers, where people are working, what they're doing, and this basically is the picture of it. And a not so great picture, I guess, would be in 2020 in February, we had 204,000 people working in every industry. And now we have just shy of 180.
Yeah. So, roughly a 10% decrease, it seems like overall.
Yeah.
And then is this for the entire region? And what would that region encompass that we're looking at right
everything
here?
That you saw in the in the stats graphs is included in here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so it includes the smaller markets, the bigger markets. It kind of has everywhere. Obviously, most of these jobs are located in your bigger cities, but the other cities they're close enough that you could travel into. But yeah, so again, where we're seeing a lot of the decrease, because this doesn't have that, is your service producing sectors. And then there's a few, your wholesale and retail trading. We know retail's struggling right now. So that is also where we've seen a massive decrease in. An interesting thing, however, finance, insurance, real estate, rental, and leasing has actually increased. So everyone's seeing an opportunity here and thinking they're going to jump on that boat. And then as well, we've seen quite a substantial increase in the professional, scientific, and technical services, which speaks to, the different initiatives in the Niagara region to bring high-paying jobs here. So a lot happening. And then as well, business building and other support services, that's seen an increase as well. There is such a shortage of new builds in the Niagara region, even though they're going up like crazy. Anecdotal example, but I have clients that are looking for a new build. Occupancy beginning 2022, and I was on the phone with 13 builders this week, and they're all sold out.
Wow.
Yeah, so something that we didn't really, there was a demand for it before, but usually you could get your hands on something. I'm sure this has to do with the drive up in price of resale homes, but yeah, it's I can't find anything with that occupancy date. So definitely interesting. And then the last kind of standout point from here, accommodation and food services, 26,400 to 11,000. That industry is struggling right now, and it is such a big part of the Niagara region. It's upsetting to see that that's the case right now. However, if we're putting kind of a positive spin on it, once things do, whenever that is, pick back up, we're going to be in a good spot for the economy in general and what people will be able to do or rent or buy. So something to pay attention to. But again, I just wanted to bring this to everyone's attention. This is where people work in the Niagara region.
Yeah, this is really great because it actually does show a more diversified economy than I probably would have guessed had you just asked me, right? I would have thought that tourism and accommodations would be even bigger than it actually was as an overall percentage of the total employment base. So this is really insightful. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And like I said, it's kind of the number one question that I'm getting. So now they put this out monthly. They do great work, very, very informative. And like I said, this just paints a picture that there actually are, high paying jobs here as well. And it's not just solely the service industry or the retail industry. So that I just wanted to show. All right, so going on to some recent deals. This was recent, pending. So this is in Welland. Obviously, it's, I would say, probably a C+ neighborhood, based off of the surrounding neighborhoods and whatnot. Listed at $399, sold for $430 on market, multiple offers. The reason that I like this one, it is under rented. There's no doubt about it. The rents were not very high. They're bordering the 700 to 800 mark, depending. But the owner lived in the 2-bedroom apartment on the main floor, so that would be vacant upon you getting the house if you did purchase it. Or there was also an offer in there for the owner to rent for 6 months. So if you were just looking for cash flow right off the bat, you don't even have to concern yourself with finding a new tenant. One will be there for a short term, and then you could turn over the unit after they left. The reason I especially liked this one, so the basement was a 4th unit at one time. It is recognized by the city as a 4-plex.
Oh, wow.
They just, they changed it to a 3 unit because the owner was using the basement as personal space. But yeah, so there is access to the basement. There's a 4th hydrometer to the basement. All of these units have separate hydrometers. It's recognized as a legal 4-plex. And I mean, you're almost hitting that if you were to do the work, that $100,000 a unit, which is mostly unattainable in the Niagara region and most markets. So yeah, I thought this one was great because of that, especially if you're, and the main floor is, if you can see there, 2-bedroom plus den, storage, office, 4-piece bathroom, living room, kitchen. That den may have potential to turn into a 3rd bedroom as well. Maybe you have to put a window in it, like depending on, maybe there's no closet, whatever it is that's causing them to call it a den versus a bedroom. But there is opportunity for that as well, and then you can raise your rent.
And then for perspective, Kayla, how, like if someone wanted to act on one of these deals, like how fast do we need to move? Like what sort of offer do you think normally actually like wins out in these sort of scenarios?
So as you can see, it was listed for 1 day.
Yeah.
So while they weren't holding offers, they still got multiple offers, obviously as a result of what it is. So again, this is someone with boots on the ground, able to go see it first day, put in an offer, and then it's highly dependent on how many offers there are, obviously. But for something like this, to me, it's like work your numbers. This makes sense. 430 makes sense. 450 would have made sense. So I do like a rule of thumb, 5 to 10,000 per offer minus your own, but that doesn't always work. That's just kind of a baseline to work with. But especially with investors, I'm always saying, like, work your numbers, see what works for you. I'll show you the comps on 4-plexes. They're very favorable once they're renovated in this area. You could BRRRR this as well. Obviously, you have 2 tenants upstairs that you'd have to work with. But nonetheless, I just thought that this was like they knocked it out of the park with this one. Great deal, especially if they do turn the basement into that 4th unit. And then, then you have a 4-plex for, even if you reno it, $500,000.
Yeah. Love it. Always appreciate it. And it's great to see these deals like are on market, right? Every month you're able to come to us with like a really cool opportunity. Yeah,
this one, like I said, this is great. And the Lincoln, Crowland, Welland downtown area is actually one of the most sought after areas for buying at the moment, which I'll speak to at the end. But yeah, so this one, love this deal. Great, awesome 4-plex, for that price. And then this one, this was in Thorold. So I think the issue with this one was when you look at this house, it looks very small.
It does, yeah.
It's actually a 5-level back split.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously got it under what asking was. And I honestly think that was just because at first glance you're thinking, oh, this is like a 700 square foot bungalow. And with this, so there's a walk up and a walk out off the back. Parking obviously is there. It has a big lot. Recent sales in this area of bungalows with, the basement apartment have been $600K in the realm of there. So you're looking at a decent BRRRR. This property is dated inside, absolutely. This is my deal. But the rule, like for a duplex in Thorold, you have to have each unit has to have an above grade level in it. This allows for that. This can be a legal duplex conversion. So on the first and upper floor, the one that you would enter from the front door, so there'll ideally would be a third bedroom added to the main floor with your kitchen and living space. And then upstairs, there are 2 large bedrooms with a bathroom. So that's that. And then off the back, there's an entrance to a kitchen living room space. And then below, it's not fully below grade. I would say it's about half below grade. You would have your 2 bedrooms, big closet, and then the bathrooms on the main floor as well as that one. And then on the 5th level, which is fully below grade, is where shared laundry would be.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really neat to see. And you mentioned this is a deal that you're planning to do yourself, or?
Yeah. So it was holding offers. For whatever reason, that didn't pan out. I saw it was still sitting there. So we figured, you know what, the BRRRR, it's not going to be a perfect BRRRR. We're not going to be able to pull everything out of it, but it will cash flow. We'll get a lot of our what we've put into it out of it, which will be great. And it'll position us to be able to do the next one.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah. And it's in a nice neighborhood. Like it's downtown Thorold has, like, it's mostly, nice. It's either older people rentals or younger people. It's across from a church. Like I like it a lot. I actually debated moving into it. But yeah, makes more sense as a investment property. So that's that. And then, so this page speaks to another question I get a lot. What are the comps? Because not everyone, but a lot of people are looking for that bungalow conversion. They're the easiest as far as, the side door, the stairs to the basement, high basement, etc. I work with a lot of people from Hamilton. I'm from Hamilton myself. I just, I moved here a while back. But as you can see, so these are nice inside. Like some of them weren't fully renovated, but show very well. So original list price, $625, $619, $699. This was March, February, March. Yep. Sold price, $701, $705, $819. So these are Hamilton prices in St. Catharines. So when you're looking at, if you're searching for that conversion and you're looking for an opportunity, but you're thinking, well, $550, this isn't going to work. Like the Niagara region is supposed to be less expensive than that. Make sure you're looking at the comps because it's still going to work. This is the picture of how this will work. This is in the north end. This is like obviously the nicer part of St. Catharines, but also where a lot of bungalows are. And it's like the lot sizes are decent. That's one thing I find with the Niagara region. There's always decent sized lots, and you're closer to the water, etc. But I just wanted to paint this picture for everyone that's looking in the Niagara region and thinking this is way too expensive. I'm not going to be able to BRRRR these properties. While they are expensive on the initial buy side of a dated bungalow, the comps are there to have a successful BRRRR. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of that, because again, if I was in Hamilton and looking here, or if I was, I would be like, okay, well, these are Hamilton prices. This also paints a picture of what's happening in the Niagara region.
And do you mind, and obviously we're going to be speculating here, but is the end user for a lot of these duplex conversions, do you think, is it people wanting turnkey rentals, or is it people looking to like house hack and move into one of the units and live in the other?
I've been working with a mixture because the rents are pretty favorable. Like most of these would have 3 beds upstairs, 2 beds downstairs, depending just on the size of them. It will still cash flow, but also for a lot of people, these are great house hacking houses because you can live upstairs, you live in a nice neighborhood, you have a nice house, and then you're able to offer a great space to the person that, is tenanting in the basement and paying good rent as well. So I think it's both. I also think it's just, families looking to live in a nice house that just happens to have a kitchen in the basement. But yeah, no, it seems to be, it differs across the board, but I would say either way, whatever your goal is, and a turnkey rental, like I think for turnkey rentals, I think that there's probably better options out there. But if you're looking at comps for the burrs, they're there. And as well, if you're looking to house hack in a nice neighborhood, the options are definitely there.
Awesome. Yeah. Love you sharing all this data with us.
Absolutely. And this is the last slide, and I just wanted to share it because I think that it's important. Everyone, and again, as you always say, we don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea what's going to happen because what has been predicted so far has seemingly been not correct on many agencies' parts. But that aside, so this came from My Niagara Online. Obviously, seller's market, we knew that. The estimated average residential sales price, they're predicting, and it's based off of a lot of data, a 12% increase. And this is across the Niagara region. Although I think they have that backwards, but that's okay. And it's just saying, again, speaking to the migration of homeowners from the GTA, Peel, Halton, because they are coming from markets that are far more expensive than Niagara, even though Niagara has increased at the rate it has. That seems to be driving up the prices. The last 3 houses that I've sold here, 2 of them were out of city, the buyers. So it's clear that is happening. And if you just go on like our realtor site and you go through like where the realtors are that these people, like the buyers, are coming with, they're from oftentimes Toronto, Brampton, and even further sometimes. So they're saying supply is anticipated to grow in 2021. I would agree with that. It is starting to grow, but even if it's getting to just over 2 months of inventory, which is what they're predicting, we're still in a pretty strong seller's market. It will allow for, less people fighting after the same house, but the sellers will still have a leg up in that. And then days on market expected to remain unchanged. Again, they're saying it's 20, but it is really 5 to 6 for anything that has value, or 1 in the case of if they're not holding offers. And then driving demand, out of town home buyers, we know that. Popular property, 2-story detached homes seem to be the go-to. I would also flip that and say bungalows as well seem to be a hot commodity, as you saw by those prices. And then to the point about Lincoln Crowland, so hottest neighborhoods, Crystal Beach, Ridgeway. I think a lot of people are looking for their own vacation properties, even though they're not far from where they live, because obviously travel is a bit rocky at the moment. Lincoln Crowland, so that would be your C neighborhood in Welland, C to B depending on where you are, but one of the more popular neighborhoods to buy. I actually just helped an investor buy there. Great bungalow, comps look great, so definitely somewhere that I would consider looking myself. And then Lincoln Mall, that's in St. Catharines. I helped an investor buy a duplex there a few weeks back. And all of these neighborhoods are great. And like I said, I just wanted to share that because I think that it's important that a lot of data is kind of doom and gloom right now. But on the other hand, there's positive data that exists as well.
Yeah. Again, really appreciate you sharing all that, and love the fact that you come with so much data and always presenting at least 1 or 2 deals that investors, if they were just really paying attention, they could act upon. So again, appreciate you coming with all the information. Reminder, guys, all of Kayla's contact information is in the video description down below if you want to reach out and chat with her about the Niagara region or investing in that market. And Kayla will be back next month, again, breaking down more stats and data in regards to what's going on in Niagara and St. Catharines.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thanks again to Kayla for taking the time to shoot this video. If you guys got value from it, smash that like button. And if you want to get in contact with Kayla, hit her up. Her contact information's in the video description down below. And let us know any standout stats or any standout moments in this video that you would like to see us come prepared with every single month that we're talking about the St. Catharines and Niagara region. And have you checked out some of the past videos we did with Kayla where she broke down the different neighborhoods according to A, B, C? She did that hand-drawn map. Make sure you go back and check out those videos. And reminder, this is monthly, so make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next month.